I have a fun class planned. I think it's fun. I hope you think it's fun. Um, I'm excited, kind of a different style. Some of you have done kind of the more circular mandala flows with me before. If you were in the Wednesday 5:45 class last week, we did some moon salutes, Kripalu moon salutes. Um, and I was kind of inspired by that movement. I haven't taken, or I mean, I haven't taught a class like that in a while, and I super loved that circular movement, a little less up and down, more of an arc shape rather than up and down. I think you'll understand that in a moment. So we will be moving from the front of the mat to the back of the mat. We're going to be switching which one is the front. So be aware of that. I have it, yes, if I step my left foot forwards, I will always, pretty much always, be facing you. So you may find that once we kind of get our situation going, you might want to change which side of your mat, your phone, iPad, or computer, or you might want to flip your mat so that you can see the screen at all times. You will catch on, I promise. We'll do that flip 4 times, I think. Shoo! We will get going, guys. Let's see. Yes, let us start. I'm going to have us start on our backs today, actually. So have your feet facing the original front of the mat. And release all the way back, allowing the spine to land, shoulder blades, back of the head to land. Arms down on either side of the torso, and you are welcome to have the legs be straight out. You are also welcome to let the knees knock together. Whatever shape is more comfortable for you right now. We'll start with a little bit of yin and then a little bit of core connection. 2 very drastic opposites. So go ahead and just land and just rest first. Aware of the points of contact from back body into your mat and into the floor. And feel the exhales sink into your mat, into the ground. If you want to, take a couple sighs for the first few exhales, really letting your day go, landing here to be present with yourself and with your practice. And if you'd like to, set an intention for your practice or continue an intention you've been working with. And letting this intention inspire how you take your practice. It will be a fairly active practice, holding most things for at least 3 breaths, some 5. But we can take this with a calm or relaxed attitude or an inspired, joyful attitude. We can all take the same shapes with just a little different expression behind them and have a fairly different practice. Now, please come into our yin variation of happy baby. So this is not holding the pinky toe edges of the feet. We'll be holding the front of the ankles and let the heels release toward the sit bones, or maybe depending on your leg length, the length of upper leg and lower leg, they might land somewhere else. My feet are really nowhere close to one another. But some people, when they take this, depending on your hip mobility, some people's feet touch automatically. Know that they don't have to, but they might. Letting the legs just hang from the arms. Only grip here is in the hands, just a little pull back in the shoulders so the legs aren't lifting us off the floor if we can avoid it. Knees are relaxed, calves towards hamstrings. And just rest. See if we can still expand the inhale down into the navel, even though there might be a little more constriction here with this shape in the legs. Now, please take the soles of the feet together and come down into a reclined butterfly shape. Elbows wide of the shoulders, forearms and the backs of the hands toward the floor. So the feet may slide, that's okay. Knees, outside seam of the knees and the legs releasing wide toward the floor. Notice where your shoulders are. Mine seem to keep creeping up toward my jaw today. See if yours are too, and maybe slide them back down. Knowing in our goalpost shape, hands, wrists may not completely land onto the floor, and that is also okay. And bring the hands to the outside of the legs. Bring the knees back toward one another and walk the knees just a little bit wider than the hips. Not super wide, but enough so that the inside seam of the legs and the knees can knock into one another. Adding just a little more space between tailbone and hip bones, little space around the sacrum. And please straighten your left leg now down the length of the mat and bring it just a little bit wider, maybe past the front corner of your mat. Cross right ankle over the top of the left ankle, hooking at the feet, keeping the left foot just a little bit flexed to make sure we keep that hook. Right hip may peel off the floor just a little bit. We'll shift the shoulders and the arms off to the left side as well, as we have a large crescent shape as we release onto the floor. Left side is shortened and probably all the way onto the floor. Right side is lengthened and maybe not all the way onto the floor. And we can release the hands, the wrists, if goalpost shape is more comfortable here. Breathing into right side, expanding into the outside of right hip, right rib cage, shoulder. And we'll switch. Go ahead and bring the shoulders back to the center. Uncross the right leg and rest back into the middle. Legs feeling symmetrical, even though they may not be, that's okay. And take the right leg just a little wider than the edge of the mat. Maybe a little bit more wider for you, a little bit more wider, pardon me, English teachers. Left ankle over the top of the right. And again, shift the chest, shift the shoulders, maybe hold on to left wrist, or take the arms into a goalpost shape, other side. And release the shoulders back to the center. Uncross the left leg. Take the feet about hip width, maybe just slightly wider. And walk the feet back. Hug the knees into the chest, please. Give the legs a squeeze. Make sure the lower spine starts to anchor onto the floor. Keeping it onto the floor, left knee stays to the chest. Inhale, extend the right leg out. Right foot flexes away from right hip and right shoulder. Navel keeps low back, hugging to the floor. Exhale, right knee back into the chest. Left leg, inhale, extend out. Flex the foot away. Exhale, back into the chest. Right leg, inhale, extend out. Exhale, back to the chest. Left leg, inhale, extend out. Exhale, back in. Anchor the lower spine to the floor. Take the limbs up into bug pose. Now noticing once again the lower spine anchoring to the floor. Feel the navel hug back slightly. We can still breathe even if we hold this strength. As you inhale, please take your right arm about 45 degrees away from the floor, lowering it halfway. Exhale, right arm back up. Left arm, inhale, lower about halfway, maybe alongside the temple. Exhale, back up. Left leg, inhale, maybe lower halfway, but keep the lower spine to the floor. Exhale, lift up. Lower halfway or only as far as you know you can keep that low back anchored. Exhale, right leg up. Your choice, one limb at a time or opposite limbs. So take just the right arm alongside the temple, or right arm and left leg. If it's too challenging to do both, just do the right arm. Exhale, lift back up. Left arm only, or left arm, right leg. Exhale, lift up. Left leg only, or left leg, right arm. Again, low back stays. Exhale, lift up. Right leg only, or right leg, left arm. Exhale, lift up. Do the same thing again. So 4 more actions, either 2 more of opposites or 1 more of each limb. Right arm or right arm, left leg. Exhale, lift up. Left arm or left arm, right leg. Exhale it. And if you want to go a little farther, you can, but do make sure low back stays. Left leg or left leg, right arm. Exhale up. Right leg only or right leg, left arm. Exhale, lift up. Hug the knees into the chest. Tuck the hands behind the knees. Rocking a couple times up to boat pose. Chest lifts. Draw the lowest ribs back. Shins can float parallel. Or if you'd like, we can straighten the legs. And tip forward, soles of the feet together, come into diamond pose, heels away from the hips, knees about 90 degrees, sitting up. Hinge from hip joints, please fold forwards. Hands can walk to the feet or farther past if you choose. And keeping our elongated spine, maybe the chest lifts just a little bit. Even if it seems like it takes us out of the pose, it brings a little more integrity into the pose. And lift up, take the knees toward one another and shift forwards. Make your way into child's pose. Hips release back toward heels. On your inhale, lift the chest forwards to cow pose. Shoulder blades down the back. Lift the chest, lift the head. Navel strong, exhale, curl under, rounding cat spine. Really find that strength we had when we lowered one limb or opposite limbs. Inhale back to cow pose, lift the chest. Tuck the toes, back to down dog. Pedaling or find stillness here. And as we press the hips back, see if we can maintain that same strength at the navel we found in the beginning and we find in our cat pose. On your inhale, take right leg back to three-legged dog. Really scoop the navel in, round the knee toward the nose. Shift the shoulders forwards, hug the leg up into the chest as high as you can. Inhale, lift back up, three legs. Down dog, release to the floor. Left leg, inhale, extend back, three-legged dog. Exhale, round knee toward nose, scoop, lift high. Inhale, back up, three legs. Down dog, release. Inhale to a plank or a kneeling plank. Stay to breathe here about 3 breaths. Chest moves through. Think of making the chest farther forwards than the thumbs. Shoulder blades pull back, bottom points toward the hips. Next exhale, lower all the way down. Hands back around the hips. Hover up to a locust pose. Leave the palms to the floor. Shoulder blades pull back. Lift the chest. Lift the legs. Still breathing. And exhale, release hands around rib cage. Move back to down dog. On your inhale, take the left leg back to three-legged dog. Scoop again, knee toward nose. Inhale, back up, 3 legs. Exhale, scoop again. This time, step the left foot between the hands. Crescent lunge, back heel off. Inhale to stand up, raising here. Stay about 3 breaths. Every exhale, navel draws back. Remembering from a couple weeks ago, remembering that we're not trying to back bend into the lower spine here. We're trying to bring that stretch into the right hip flexor. On your exhale, hinge about halfway toward the left thigh. So the spine, the arms are relatively in line with right leg, back leg. Press the left foot into the floor. Inhale, stand up, coming into a goddess stance or horse stance. Toes a little wider than the heels. 3 times we'll sit back. Exhale, knees wide over the toes, elbows wide like a goalpost. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, elbows wide. Inhale to raise. Exhale, sit back to stay, breathing here. And on your next exhale, start to shorten the right side, right elbow over, right knee. Inhale, lift up, lengthen the spine, whole central part of the body stay strong. Exhale, left elbow over, left knee. Inhale, lift tall. Right elbow over, right knee. Lift up. Left elbow over, left knee. This time, inhale, stand all the way up, toes in front of heels, hands overhead. Rotate your right toes to the back of the mat and come down into warrior 2. Left heel shrugs back, breathing here. Ribs draw in, finding left hip flexor instead of our slouch into the low belly. On your inhale, raise the arms up overhead and release the fingers. Turn the palms up toward the ceiling. Exhale, lean in about halfway. Our strong variation, lack of prop on the elbow. Hands stay out over the head. On your inhale, reach back, reverse warrior. This time, come into side angle, right elbow onto right thigh, or if you'd like, right hand down inside right foot. Left arm can reach into extension or stay straight up over the shoulders if it's uncomfortable in the neck. Legs strong, inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, spiral the hands down around your right foot. Back heel off, come into runner's lunge. And with flipping from side to side, we may need to move the feet into their own lanes or into a single lane. Do keep that in mind as we come into new shapes. Left hand stays. Inhale the right arm up, twisting, revolved runner's lunge, keeping the weight standing into the legs. Next exhale, release the right hand to the floor, runner's lunge. Inhale back to a plank or a kneeling plank. Exhale, take your preferred vinyasa, lowering, coming into your back bend. Navel strong, exhale back to down dog, breathing here. Now on your inhale, take right leg back to three-legged dog, round right knee toward the nose, shoulders shift forwards. Inhale back up, three legs. Exhale, step right foot through, crescent lunge. Legs strong, inhale to stand up. Shoulders soft, navel draws back, finding the stretch into left hip flexor. As you exhale, lower the torso part way. Left leg in line with spine, in line with arms. Thumbs keep lifting up. Try to leave space between your shoulders and your jaw. Make sure we're not scrunching up here, sinking the shoulders back. Next inhale, stand up. Toes in front of heels. Pivot to face the long side of your mat. Heels in, back to goddess pose. Sit back. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, sit back. Inhale, raise. Exhale, sit back to stay. Now, exhale, shorten your left side, left elbow over the left knee. Torso stays in the same plane. Inhale, lift up. Right elbow over right knee. Lift up. Left side. Raise. Right side. Lift all the way up. Toes in front of heels, hands overhead. Rotate left toes to the front of the mat. Shrug the right heel back. Warrior two. Navel draws back. On your inhale, lift just the arms. Interlace the fingers. Palms up. Exhale, lean to our strong side angle. And inhale, reverse warrior. Right hand to right leg, left arm lifts. Side angle of your choice. Propped variation, right arm straight up. Adding extension if you'd like, or left hand to the floor. Inhale, reach back, reverse warrior. Exhale, spiral the hands down around left foot. Runner's lunge. Again, depending on where the feet are, we might need to walk them into their own lanes. Right hand stays. Inhale, left arm up, revolved runner's lunge. And release the left hand to the floor. Inhale, left leg back to plank or kneeling plank. Exhale, lower, vinyasa of your choice. And back to down dog. Next inhale, left leg back to three-legged dog. Exhale, step forwards, crescent lunge again. Inhale to raise up. Twisting this time, right arm forward, left arm behind, breathe here. Right hip moves forwards as left hip, left glute, sit back a little bit. Heart forwards, inhale back up to crescent. And next inhale, flip the feet back up for our goddess pose. This time, sit back and stay, breathing here, no side bends this time. Knees stay wide, adjust where the feet are if you need to. And release the hands onto the tops of the legs. As you exhale, twist, left shoulder drops, twist to the back of the mat. Inhale back to the middle. Drop right shoulder, twist to the front. Inhale to middle. Twist to the back of the mat. Lift up. Twist to the front. Back to the center. Legs strong. Inhale, stand up. Toes in front of heels, arms up overhead. And this time we'll come into triangle pose facing the back of the mat. So right toes pivot, but the leg stays towards straight. Inhale, arms up overhead, interlace fingers, palms up. Leaning in toward our triangle shape. Left leg in line with the spine, with the arms, staying strong. Do know that if your right knee locks, keep a little bit of a bend. Inhale, we'll take a reverse triangle. Right knee can bend a little bit if you'd like to. And exhale, come down into triangle pose, breathing here. Let's bend into the right knee, reverse warrior. And exhale, spiral the hands down around right foot. Runner's lunge at the back of the mat. Left hand stays. Inhale, right arm up, revolved, runner's lunge again. Staying here, we will need to come back to plank eventually, but we can come to side plank. Right leg can step straight back or lower, back to plank, and then come into side plank. Right arm toward the ceiling, left knee can drop, or right foot can step in front of the leg. Exhale, release to plank or kneeling plank. Lower all the way down, landing, locust pose. Variation of your choice. We can leave the palms like we did in the beginning or choose to float the arms, lifting, breathing. And release, hands around rib cage. Move back to down dog, please. On your inhale, take right leg back to three-legged dog. Exhale, step forwards, crescent lunge. Inhale to raise up. Twisting left arm forward, right arm behind, breathing here. Heart forwards, inhale, lift the arms back up, crescent to stay. And inhale, flip, come back into our goddess stance, toes wide, heels in. Exhale, sit back to stay. Breathing here about 3 breaths. And release the hands onto the tops of the legs. Twist toward the front of the mat, drop right shoulder, exhale. Inhale back to the middle. Twist to the back of the mat, left shoulder drops. Inhale, middle. Exhale, twist to the front. Back to center. Twist to the back. Back to the center to stay in the center. Legs strong, inhale, stand up, toes in front of heels. From here, left toes to the front of the mat, right heel shrugs back. Coming into triangle pose. Pardon, our active variation. Interlace the fingers, turn the palms up. Exhale, start to lean in. Right leg in line with spine and arms. Legs strong. Inhale, reverse our triangle. If you'd like to, we can bend the knee for warrior. Exhale, triangle pose. Left hand to the shin, ankle, or floor. And bend into the left knee, reverse warrior, left arm lifts. And exhale, spiral the hands down around left foot, runner's lunge. We'll take revolved runner's lunge. Left arm lifts. And from here, stepping left foot straight back to side plank or come down first, back to plank, and then side plank, left arm lifting, right knee can set down or left foot can step forwards to help support you. Release left hand to the floor. Exhale, lower all the way down, landing your variation of locust. If you'd like, we can take bound locust, maybe interlacing fingers at the tailbone, pressing back to lift up. Either that or palms to floor or arms to parallel. And release hands around the rib cage. Come back to down dog, breathing here. On your inhale, take the left leg back to three-legged dog. Exhale, step the foot forward to warrior one. Right heel grounds, hips forwards. Stand all the way up. Take the elbows wide, pull the navel in, exhale, goalpost. Straighten the left knee, inhale, raise up. Bend the left knee, exhale, elbows wide. Inhale, straighten all. Exhale, bend in. Keep the left knee bent. Inhale, just the arms up. Arms all the way wide, interlace hands behind the back. Remember which thumb is on top, or grab a towel or strap between the hands. Open the chest, fold to humble warrior, torso on or inside, left leg, right hip draws forwards, shortening right side, left hip sits back, lengthening left side. As you exhale, release the hands down around left foot. Start to move the hips back, beginning to straighten left knee, folding to pyramid pose. If you need to, we can change where our feet are. Heels can be in their own lanes or maybe a little more narrow. Maybe right foot is too far back, we can step it forwards if you really feel like the hips cannot draw toward the front of the mat. Inhale to a half lift here, long spine, right hand stays to the floor, inside left foot, directly below right shoulder if we can. Start to take left hand to left hip, roll the chest open toward left. Left arm can extend up or it can stay to the left hip or lower spine if you'd prefer. Exhale, release the left hand back to the floor. We're going to pivot into Skandasana, so chances are you might need to sit the right foot, the back foot, a little farther back. Hands walk to the right edge of your mat. Pivot the left heel to come down into our side lunge. We might need to really change where the feet are. That's totally fine. Feel free to take a full reset if you need to. And if sitting back into Skandasana is not comfortable, we can simply pivot and come into a side lunge lifted without the hips releasing toward the floor. Now, straighten the left leg, pivot into a wide leg forward fold. Hands walk below the face or maybe back between the heels. We can even walk them farther back toward the long edge of the mat behind you. Inhale up to a wide leg half lift. From here, point the right toes to the back of the mat. Pivot around into warrior one. We will probably have to step the left foot wider so feet can be in their own lanes here. Standing up, facing the back of the mat. Elbows wide. Exhale, open the chest. Navel back, elbows wide. Straighten right knee, lift the arms. Exhale to bend in. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, bend in. Keep the right knee bent. Arms lift high. Interlace hands behind the back, perhaps awkward grip, opposite thumb on top, or grab our towel or strap again. Open the chest, folding to humble warrior, on or over right leg. And release the hands down around right foot. Begin to come into pyramid pose, straightening right knee, folding. If you need to, step left foot forward so left hip can also move forwards. Right hip sitting back still. Inhale to a half lift here. Left hand below the face, maybe inside right foot for a revolved triangle. Do make sure we're not reaching super far forwards or reaching behind the chest. Lift right hand to hip or all the way up for a revolved triangle. And release the right hand back to the floor. Pivot into Skandasana. Hands walk to your left. Pivot the right heel behind you slightly. Either prop right elbow onto right thigh for our lifted side lunge, or walk the hands down just inside right heel, maybe in front of right arch, just below the chest. Elongated leg, left toes can flex up toward the ceiling. And inhale, come up to a wide leg half lift, toes in front of the heels. Exhale, wide leg fold. If you'd like, perhaps taking a bind. First 2 fingers around big toes, or hands to ankles or calves. Shoulders pull into the back. And supporting our fold with the navel. So we're not just hanging into the bones, but maybe using the quads, using the tops of the legs, and using that slight hug in the navel to help our shape. On your inhale, come into a wide leg half lift once again. Pivot left toes to the front of the mat. Walk around into runner's lunge. Inhale back to plank or kneeling plank. Exhale, lower all the way down, coming into shoulder roll this time. Take your left arm wide out to the side. Rolling onto left hip, left side body. Right knee can point up, right arm could reach back, or we can keep both to the ground. And roll back onto the chest, please. Switch sides. Take the right arm out for shoulder roll, opposite direction. Rolling onto right hip, right side. Left limbs can reach back or stay to the floor. Exhale, release back onto the chest. Take the hands around the rib cage and feel as though we're pulling the elbows toward one another behind the back. Do make sure the hands are not necessarily around the cheeks, not really around the tops of the shoulders, but farther back, as though they would make the triceps were starting to make a shelf, like the very end of our chaturanga. As you inhale, lift the chest. Feel like the hands are pulling back. Stay to breathe here in our low cobra. Exhale, release. Take the left cheek or temple to the floor if it's comfortable to do so. And next inhale, go ahead and lift back up, maybe lifting a little higher. If you'd like, we can take the hands a little farther forwards and begin to let the arms help as long as the muscles around the spine are still helping. Exhale, release right cheek to the floor. Stay to breathe. lifting up third time. Spine still strong, shoulders pull back. Much more about the spine than the arms. Arms are barely doing anything. Exhale, release. Hands around the rib cage. Move back to down dog. Walk, step, or hop forwards. Come into a half lift at the top of your mat. Exhale, forward fold, adding a bind. We can hold on to big toes or hold on to ankles or calves like we perhaps did in our wide leg, standing forward fold. And release. Inhale, elongated spine, half lift here, chest forwards. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, raise all the way up, hands overhead. Hands to heart center. Lots of stepping to the side, lots of open hips. We'll continue and then bring them back in. Shift your weight into left foot, please. Bring the right heel inside left ankle. If you'd like, staying here for our kickstand tree, or bring the foot up inside left calf. See if we can lift through all sides of the body. Feel the navel helping you lift. Feel the left quad help lift up, stabilizing left leg. If you'd like, we can bring right foot up higher, or we can stay right here with the calf or to the ankle. And gently release, right foot back to the floor. Switching, take a moment to rebalance through the right foot, right leg. Turning left heel inside right ankle. Staying here, or if you'd like, bring the foot up inside right calf. Maybe up higher above the knee joint. Finding your preferred tree variation for this side. And with a little levity, lift the left leg and set it back to the floor. Weight even between both feet. Inhale, arms up overhead. Sit the hips back. Keep the feet hip distance back to chair pose. If the hands are uncomfortable along the spine, we can take hands to heart center instead. Inhale, stand all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands. Step your right leg back to crescent lunge again. Inhale, stand up. Breathe here. Right hip draws back, navel in. And hands to heart center. Twist right elbow on or toward left thigh, coming into our revolved crescent with hands to heart. Legs strong. Inhale, lift up, back to crescent lunge. Inhale, lift up for one more round of goddess. Toes wide of the heels. Exhale, sit back. Keep the knees wide. This time, take the arms out in front of you and start to take the torso with you. So I'll flip sideways here. Hoping I don't slide on my floor. Knees are wide, releasing the chest forwards. If you hate this, I'm sorry. But if you don't like it, feel free to stay lifted. If it pinches, if it's uncomfortable, if your legs are like, I'm done. Legs strong, knees still pressing wide. Lift up. And pivot right toes to the back of the mat. One more round of triangle. Right hand down to right shin, left arm straight up. Hopefully nice and open through side body. Bend into the right knee. Inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, spiral the hands down around right foot. Set down for lizard pose. Walk the right leg outside of right arm, please. Let the left hip move forwards, chest lifts. And your preferred shape for lizard. If you'd like to, we can twist to complement our revolved crescent. If you'd like a little bit more for the quads, we could take our bent knee variation, or we could reach back to bind our bent knee variation. And release, please. Walk the right leg back below the chest. Straighten the left knee off the floor, runner's lunge. Inhale, right arm up, revolved runner's lunge. This time, extend the right arm alongside the head. Try to spin the palm behind your head, the same direction as the back of the head, pardon me, bad cue. Thumb can spin up toward the ceiling, long from left heel to right hand. Inhale, lift the right arm straight back up. If we did take that variation, release back to runner's lunge. From here, this is a long stance. We might need to take a couple little hops forward, come up to a half lift at what is now the top of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, raise all the way up, hands overhead. Hands to heart center. Feet and legs back to hip width for chair. Inhale, arms lift. Arms can stay in line with the spine or sink to heart, sit back to our hip width chair. Finding that same scoop we had when we leaned forwards in our first crescents. Inhale, stand all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Fold, plant the hands, left leg back, crescent lunge. Inhale to stand up. Breathe here. And exhale, hands to heart center. Twist left elbow on or toward right thigh. Elbows draw wide, bringing the hands back toward right chest or maybe to the center of the chest, pressing downwards. Legs strong, inhale back up to crescent, staying here for a moment. It's a lot to twist out of. And inhale, lift up, flip to goddess pose, toes wider than heels. Exhale, sit back, keep the knees wide, keep the legs moving wide, and extend the torso and the arms out in front. Navel scoop so we're not in a back bend. Legs strong, inhale, lift up, all the way up, left toes to the front of the mat. This is almost done, we're almost done. Arms out at the height of the shoulders. Last triangle. Bend into the left knee. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, spiral the hands down around left foot. Lizard pose. Right knee sets to the floor. We can walk left leg wide. Nope, want the left leg back below the chest. We skipped it. I got it. Straighten the right knee back off the floor. Pardon me. Come into runner's lunge. And now, if you'd like, if we did on the other side, take the left arm, extend it forwards in line with right leg. Palm spins the direction the back of your head is facing. Thumb up. If we took that extended variation, inhale, left arm straight up over the shoulders, and release to runner's lunge. Release right knee. Now, please come into lizard pose. Left leg walks wide of left arm, heart forwards, hip forwards. And we can add our twist. Left hand to left knee. We can bend right knee separately or with the twist, maybe bind. And release. Walk the left leg back below the chest, please. Hands frame the left foot. Straighten the right knee off the floor. And we will step forwards. We might need to shorten the stance first. Step forwards. Inhale to a half lift at the top of your mat. Exhale, fold. Raise all the way up, hands overhead. Hands to heart center. And please walk the feet wider than the hips, coming into Malasana, or garland pose. Inhale, take the arms up overhead, like both legs are in the bent knee of Skandasana. Sit back, elbows on or inside the knees. We can change the angle of the feet. Toes can move wider or heels can move back farther. Hands press downwards to lift the chest. Again, trying to not scrunch the spine, but lift tall as we press the knees wide. Knowing how close the hips are to the floor, if you know it's going to be comfortable and safe for your tailbone to come back to boat pose, go ahead and fall gracefully straight back. What was it? Falling with style? Is that from Hercules? I think we just watched it a couple days ago. Mom, comment after. Don't get out of your pose. Go ahead and sit back, come into boat pose in whatever way is best for you. Lifting the chest, shins parallel. Toy Story. Got it. Or if you'd like, straighten the legs. Slowly release the spine down onto the floor. See if we can reach the arms forwards. Take a minute to get there. I didn't take very long to get there today. Maybe you did. Oh, knees to chest. Keeping the left knee in like the beginning. Lower back stays anchored to the floor. Inhale, extend right foot out away from right hip. Exhale, right knee back into the chest. Left leg, inhale, extend out, right knee stays in. Exhale, back to chest. From here, please plant your left foot to the floor. Cross right ankle over left thigh, coming into figure 4, right knee away from you. Pick up the left foot. Hands can hold on to left hamstring or shin. And release left foot and right foot back to the floor. Switching left ankle over right thigh. Press the left knee away from you. Pick up right foot. Hands around right hamstring or shin. And release right foot and left foot back to the floor. Take the arms out to the sides, T-shape or goalpost shape. Walk the feet a little wider than the hips. Release both knees to the left, windshield wiper shape. Let the feet, the legs slide where they want to slide. Try to let the hips and the spine hold zero tension here, simply resting. Point the knees back up, switch, knees release to the right. And again, let the legs slide where they need to slide so they can land completely. Or not even so they can land completely, but sit so they can let go completely. Your legs do not have to touch the floor through the entire seam. And bring the knees back up. Allow the lower spine to anchor back toward the floor. Taking a pass at bridge, arms around the torso, feet hip width or so, heels and toes about the same width. Sometimes we like to flare a little wide, see if we can point them even. Inhale, lift the hips, squeeze through the glutes just enough to help create that hip extension, hip creases up. Exhale, release back to the floor. As the hips land, hug the navel back. Lower spine anchors. Lift the limbs back up to bug. And same in the beginning. If you'd like one limb at a time or opposite limbs, I will cue both. Inhale and lower as far or as little as you want to, but keep the lower spine anchored. Just right arm or right arm and left leg both reach away from center line. Exhale, bring them back up. Just left arm or left arm and right leg. Low back stays. Exhale, lift up. Just left leg or left leg and right arm. Exhale, lift. Just right leg or right leg, left arm. Exhale up. 4 more actions. 2 pairs or one of each. Right arm or right arm, left leg. Exhale, lift. Left arm or left arm, right leg. Exhale up. Left leg or left leg and right arm. Exhale. Just right leg or right leg and left arm. Exhale up. Hug the knees to the chest. This time, your preferred shape for happy baby. Maybe we liked that yin style. Maybe you'd like to do it again. A lot of Skandasana shapes. If you'd prefer, we can hold on to pinky toe edges. If you do so, notice how much your hips lift off the floor. Try to anchor the back of the pelvis back down while we take the shoulders and knees back as well. Anchoring through both sides, shoulders and tailbone. Adding on any additional shapes or poses you would like to feel comfortable and ready to release for your preferred shape for Shavasana. Add any pieces of clothing if you'd like, or remove some. I'm toasty. If you'd like to, grab any props you'd like for Shavasana. Ending with legs down the length of the mat, or we can let the knees knock in if that is still more comfortable for low back and hamstrings. When you are ready, landing, taking your time to do so, and again, feel where the back of the body lands. Land from your practice, or if we're still working on landing from our day, keep focusing on back body, where it physically lands. As you exhale, feel the back body release to the floor. Letting go of your day, letting go of your practice, and simply allowing yourself to be, to rest. Allow the breath to be natural, no need to amplify it, to slow it, or to match it. And just observe the shape of the body. Observe the shape that the right hand has fallen into. Where the fingers are, knowing they don't have to be in any certain shape. Aware of where the right arm is, where it touches the floor, where it doesn't. If there's any clothing resting onto it. Be aware of the back of the head and where the head rests. Muscles of the face relaxed. Aware of the collarbones, soft and sinking every exhale. Aware of left arm, its shape, its compression into the floor. Aware of the shape of left hand, left fingers. Just where they rest, no need to move or act on any awareness. Aware of left chest, left hip, side of the torso. Aware of heart center, navel center. Aware of right chest, right hip, right side of the torso. Awareness to right hip, right leg, right foot. No movement, just stillness through right toes. Aware of left toes, left foot, left leg, lower leg, whole left leg. Aware of left hip, aware of both sides of the pelvis. Very center of the pelvis, the base of the spine. Awareness again to navel center. And to heart center. Rest with your awareness at this clarity in the heart. Whole body still. Awareness inside at heart center. Return to your intention, repeating it as you rest. Placing it at heart center. Gently expand breath and awareness back out into the chest, into the torso, out into arms, to legs, toward hands and feet. Gently, gradually, keeping the eyes closed, begin to move the fingers and the toes. Bend the ankles and the wrists. Let the head rock from side to side. Bend the elbows slowly, gradually. Bring the knees into the chest for a few breaths. Rolling onto your right side for a couple more breaths, resting in this shape. And make your way up into a tall seat. Crossing the legs, spine stacked tall over hips. Feeling an alert, energetic wave riding from the base of the spine up into the crown of the head. Lifting you tall, alert, and awake, yet still and resting. Please bring hands together at heart center. As you inhale, bring the palms away from one another. Expand the arms outwards, wider than shoulders, maybe just a little above the shoulders. Diagonal stretch out, and as you exhale, bring the palms back into heart center. Eyes can remain closed. We'll do this a couple times. Inhale, feel the arms, the hands expand away from heart center. Expansive energy throughout whole body, whole breath, and exhale. Collect palms. Collect this expansive energy back at the heart. Inhale, expansion outwards, palms away. Exhale back into heart center. We'll do this 2 more times. And after our next exhale, when hands return back to heart center, call to mind your intention once again. Palms can rest. Taking your practice, this alert expansion with you. Coming back to any aspect, any movement, any attitude or energy, or your intention at any point. Bowing your head to your heart. Acknowledging your breath, your peace, and all that you are. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Now, live or later, I hope you enjoyed that class. I had fun creating it. I had fun teaching it. And someone has fun disrupting my classes. Yeah, you were so good until Shavasana, weren't you? Yes, Meek. Yes, Meek. Yes, everybody loves you. Everybody just needs to see you during yoga. I know you think this, but, here's the baby. Thank you, Miko Bear, for all of your love and bringing everybody such joy. Thanks, Mary. Miko, say hi, Grandma Sue. Such an awkward baby. Yes, Kate, you heard him knocking. Ugh. Well, turkey. He was so good until, right when we laid down and we were supposed to be quiet. Ain't that the way it works? Orange kitties. You orange troublemakers. Hi, guys. Thanks for practicing with me today. If you'd like to see more videos, if you'd perhaps like to see more of Miko's arm being shoved under the door, I'll link a couple right here. I'll link my page. I'll link the most recent series or video. And subscribe if you'd like to let yourself know when I put out a new video. What do you think, Miko? Do you think that's a good idea? I think that's a good idea.